Lac qui Parle State Park is located in the Minnesota River Valley, which was formed by the glacial river Warren about 13,000 years ago. And when it did that, it exposed many great rock outcrops, which are known for their unique plant and animal communities. The Lac qui Parle State Park is just over 1,000 acres. Lac qui Parle State Park has the largest recorded cottonwood tree in Minnesota right next to its boundary. The cottonwood tree is actually in a little ravine, so it's protected from many of the storms that have come through the area. Probably its crowning jewel thing that it's really known for is its Upper Campground. There are people that come here for this campground that their RV has slide outs, and many campgrounds have many trees and they're not able to have their slide outs out in those campgrounds, and ours allows anything that's legal to pull on the highway. The early history of Lac qui Parle State Park is back in the 30s. It was talked about to create areas where people could come down to the lake to recreate. And as a result of that, during the WPA era, where they were trying to put people back to work, they built 3 beautiful historic structures out of stone and timber here at Lac qui Parle State Park. One of them is the historic map shelter, and then there's a historic toilet building, and then a warming shelter. The warming shelter actually has a gorgeous fireplace in it. We use that in the winter for our ice luminary hikes that we have, usually the end of January during a full moon. There's a lot of history in this park. The park was originally talked about back in the early 30s. The Lac qui Parle Mission was established first.
So the Lac qui Parle Mission that you see behind me here was built or started in 1835. Joseph Renville, who was a fur trader, came here in 1826 and founded Fort Renville, which was just about a mile up the river here. It was across from the Wahpeton Band of Santee Dakota's village that was on the other side of the river. So he started a fur trading post. Joseph Renville's father was a French fur trader and his mother was Dakota. So he spoke French and Dakota, both languages equally. Some important cool things about the mission are it was the first place where cloth was woven, it was the first place where a church bell rang, and it was the first school in the Minnesota River Valley. So there's a lot of cool firsts that are associated with the mission. The history of missionaries can be kind of fraught with some issues as far as trying to wipe out culture and that sort of thing. But they seem to get along pretty well. There were, moments of learning between both of them, but they seem to do well. And men, women, and children were taught to read and write in Dakota language. So that was the first time that the language had been written down. So it was able to preserve some things that way. The mission was in service from 1823 to 1854. After Joseph Renville passed away, a different gentleman took over Fort Renville, the trading fort, and he was an irreligious man from the writings. So the mission fell into disrepair and eventually burned down, and then the mission was rebuilt as a WPA project at about the same time that the Lac qui Parle State Park was built.
Lac qui Parle State Park holds a very special place in my heart because it's a place where people can come to stay, to recreate in this much larger public land base of all the way up and down the Minnesota River Valley. We might be a little niche down at the south end of the lake, but we welcome people to come here so they can explore the whole Minnesota River Valley.
Postcards is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Additional support provided by Margaret A. Cargill Philanthropies, Mark and Margaret Yakel-Julien on behalf of Shalom Hill Farms, a retreat and conference center in a prairie setting near Windham, Minnesota. On the web at shalomhillfarm.org. Alexandria, Minnesota, a year-round destination with hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for memorable vacations and events. More information at explorealex.com. The Lake Region Arts Council's Arts Calendar, an arts and cultural heritage funded digital calendar showcasing upcoming art events and opportunities for artists in West Central Minnesota. On the web at lrac4calendar.org. Playing today's new music plus your favorite hits, 96.7 Cram. Online at 967cram.com.